What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut, and today we're going to discuss the Anthony Rizzo trade, which occurred back on December 6th, 2010. Now, this trade could also have been called the Adrian Gonzalez trade. However, we already have the secondary Adrian Gonzalez trade when he was traded to the Dodgers as its own video. Therefore, we're going to call this the Anthony Rizzo trade. Now, basically, why this trade occurred is because the San Diego Padres were not a great team. They were starting to regress a little bit. They were going to go into a little bit of a rebuild, whereas the Boston Red Sox wanted to attempt to capitalize on their somewhat aging core at that point, and they wanted to get, a star first baseman to help their team. So how did this trade go? Well, the San Diego Padres got 4 prospects from Boston in exchange for the aforementioned first baseman, Adrian Gonzalez. So we'll start with Boston, which is a little abnormal, I know, but... So Boston got first baseman Adrian Gonzalez. Now, Gonzalez had a very strong 2011 season where he would actually lead the league in hits with 213 while adding a 338 batting average. Now, he had a solid start to the 2012 season in which he was hitting 300, but he ends up getting traded as Boston was somewhat regressing at this point. Now, this trade, like I said before, is discussed in its own video. It will be linked in the description below. Now, in a year and a half for Boston, he actually had 3 accolades, and he was a one-time All-Star, a one-time Silver Slugger, and a one-time Gold Glover. Gonzalez was a great fit for Boston. It's just they didn't need him on an expiring deal, or on his big contract at that point. So what did the Padres get in return for Gonzalez? They got 4 prospects. So the 2 big names were, of course, first baseman Anthony Rizzo and pitcher Casey Kelly, as well as outfielder Ray Fuentes and second baseman Eric Patterson. So let's start with the big name, first baseman Anthony Rizzo. So he was their 3rd prospect, Boston's 3rd prospect at the time of this trade, and he ends up getting called up in June of 2011. Now, his call-up was celebrated immensely by the Padres faithful. They were excited. They wanted a new, young, talented guy to step in. He had been lighting up the minors, so they were ready for him. And he started off his career well. He had a couple good games, but he started to struggle immensely. Now, he ends up getting demoted after a month and a half, and then he ends up getting called back up towards the end of the year, but he would still struggle, and he ended that year with a 141 average with a single home run across 128 at-bats. Now, they end up trading him away. So they would trade him, along with starting pitcher Zach Cates, to the Chicago Cubs in exchange for starting pitcher Andrew Kastner and outfielder Kyung Min Na. So Andrew Kastner, what he did is he ends up stepping up, and he goes to a bullpen role originally before moving to the starting pitching rotation. Now, he ends up getting hurt, and he misses half the 2012 season, all said and done. Now, after this, he has a solid 2013 season. That season go 10-9 with a 3.09 earned run average. Now, he has a tough luck 2014 season in which he would go 5-7 despite having a 2.55 earned run average. Now, he has a rough 2015, and then he starts off the 2016 slowly before kind of showing a bit of a rebound, and then he ends up getting traded at the deadline. So this trade will get its own video in the future. We will get to that shortly. Or we'll get to that within a month, hopefully, at minimum. Now, the other player that they got for Rizzo was outfielder Kyung Min Na. Now, Na didn't do much for the team. He spent a single year in the minors before he would leave and go play overseas. So how did the other players do that they got? Pitcher Casey Kelly was actually the big name. He was the number 1 prospect for the Red Sox organization at the time of this trade. And he stepped in. He had great potential. Now, he would debut in the 2012 season in which he would make 6 starts. Now, across these 6 starts, he did okay. Problem was, before the 2013 season, he had to undergo the dreaded Tommy John surgery. Now, he would miss all of that year and most of the 2014 season due to injuries, and he would only spend 2014 in the minors. Now, due to these injuries, they would convert him from a starter to a reliever, and he would struggle in his 3 appearances in the 2015 season, so they end up trading him away alongside catcher Ricardo Rodriguez to the Atlanta team in exchange for utility man who was a catcher and an outfielder and eventually a relief pitcher, Christian Bethancourt. So Bethancourt originally served as their backup catcher. Then they started putting him basically everywhere. He played first, third, second periodically, and he was in the corner outfield, specifically right field, during his first season. He didn't do that bad. He, like I said, he served as the backup. Now, he ends up converting to a relief pitcher as he had a couple of decent appearances in blowout games in his first season in San Diego. Now, the problem was he wasn't built for it. He didn't have the ability to do it. So he ends up struggling. He ends up getting demoted, and then they end up just getting rid of him. So it was an interesting experiment while it lasted. Now we have two more players for San Diego. We have outfielder Ray Fuentes. Now, Ray Fuentes appeared in 23 games over a season before he himself was traded. He gets traded to the Kansas City Royals in exchange for a relief pitcher, Kyle Bartesh. And Bartesh, he spent just over a year in the minors before he was released. The last player that San Diego got was second baseman Eric Patterson. And Patterson spent a half year at the majors, but he struggled to impress, and then he ends up getting demoted and he would walk. So all in all, not an impressive haul for the Padres, for their superstar, Adrian Gonzalez. So you might be thinking, wait, why did the Padres give up on Anthony Rizzo? The Padres GM at the time, when he called him up to the majors, he was excited. He clearly struggled, so he ends up leaving the team, and then he goes to Chicago. So he wanted to get Rizzo back. He knew that his value was at an all-time low, so he made the move, basically giving up Andrew Kastner for Rizzo. Very good move by him. So how did these other three teams do involved in the trade? Of course, we're going to start with the Cubs. Now, the Cubs got first baseman Anthony Rizzo, and this one is a fun one. So after another stay in the minors, he would get promoted in July of 2012, and he more than held his own that season, hitting .285. Now, he would sign a 7-year deal, and he had a slightly off season in 2013, but he continued to play strong defense, which kept him in the lineup. Now, he continued to grow as a power hitter and a clubhouse leader in the 2014 season. He had a strong 2015 in which he led the majors in hit by pitches with 30. Now, he had a career season in 2016 where he set career highs in doubles with 43, triples with 4, hits with 170, and tying his high in RBIs with 109, as well as home runs with 32. Now, after a rough NLDS, he had a strong showing in the NLCS in 2016 versus the Dodgers and in the World Series versus Cleveland. Of course, he was a key piece in the Cubs ending their dreaded curse of the Billy Goat. Now, he hit .277 with 3 home runs across that postseason. So he continued to flash on defense as well. He had another strong season in 2017, leading the league once more in hit by pitches with 24. He had another strong year in 2018, and then he had a career high .293 in 2019 while adding an impressive 27 homers. He had a rougher 2020 season, but most of the Cubs hitters did that year. He had a nice bounce back in 2021 at this point, but towards the end of May, he was dealing with a back injury. It looked like he might go on the injured list. He did not. So, yeah, he is scheduled to be a free agent after this 2021 campaign, so it should be noted. Now, he is a 3-time All-Star, a 4-time Gold Glover, a 1-time Silver Slugger, and he was a 1-time winner of the Roberto Clemente Award. Now, it should be noted, too, he is the only player who is still on his team at this point. His WAR is as of June 2nd, 2021. So, just want to put that out there. So, lastly for the Cubs, they got starter Zach Cates. Cates did not do anything. He spent 3.5 years in the minors, never making it above AA before he was released. Now, we have 2 more teams. We'll go to Atlanta, who got pitcher Casey Kelly. Now, they put him in a reliever role, and he struggled across 10 games before he was demoted and eventually cut. Catcher Ricardo Rodriguez is actually still in the minors for this team, but he's in low A. It's unknown if he's ever going to do much of anything. So, still impressive that he's still on this team. Lastly, we have the Kansas City Royals, who acquired outfielder Ray Fuentes. Fuentes spent a little bit of time as Kansas City's starting right fielder, actually winning the job outright opening day, but he ends up getting demoted and cut due to poor performance. So as you can see, we do have the WARs written in green. Who's the winner of this trade? I think it goes without saying, Chicago Cubs with a 36.9. The only other team that had anything of note was the Boston Red Sox with Adrian Gonzalez at 9.9. San Diego got a 0.5 WAR out of their players, all from Andrew Kastner. Everyone else got negatives. Atlanta got a negative 0.3, and Kansas City got a negative 0.2. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This was the Anthony Rizzo trade. Again, the link for Adrian Gonzalez will be in the description below. Soon enough, Andrew Kastner will get his own trade, so definitely come back, check that one out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good rest of your day.